Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Five Star Revolution podcast with your host, CJ Price. Thanks for joining us for another great episode. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now, Five Star Revolution Podcast, and also go over to Facebook and like our Facebook page, Five Star Revolution Podcast. Tonight, we have a very special guest, and his name is Kalel Santana. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem, man. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. It's really a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man. It means a lot. It really means a lot that you're giving me a platform so people can get to know me and other wrestlers as well. So, kudos to you on that, man.
I appreciate that. So I ask this question to pretty much every single guest that comes on my show because everyone has a different answer, right? I want to know, were you a wrestling fan growing up? And if so, who were your favorites?
Yes, I've been a wrestling fan since I was a kid. It got stronger as I got older. Once I started reaching like 8 years old, that's when I started getting more into it. I used to watch WCW Saturday nights, and then I started watching Nitro. And one of the guys that really got me excited about wrestling was Sting. Like I was a huge, huge Stinger fan, like all about Sting, and he made me feel excited about wrestling. And my favorite of all time, of course, is Eddie Guerrero. Eddie. He's the guy that made me feel that I could do it. He made me feel that I was made me feel proud to be Latino, and he was putting the people up there. So he made me feel like I could do it. So then you got one guy that made me get super interested in the business, and then you got one that made me fall in love with it and made me feel like I could do it as well. So those are my two tops that I would say.
Those are two great selections right there. Sting, a great wrestler, a legend, still going at it to this day. Can you believe it? In
Yeah,
the 60s, still wrestling, but he still looks good in the ring.
yeah,
And
definitely.
we all know what happened to Eddie Guerrero. Tragically passed away in 2005. But he is also a great legend in the business and one of the best wrestlers of all time.
Yes, sir. Still alive in our hearts, baby.
Absolutely. I still think about it and I still watch his matches. Absolutely. So let's skip ahead a little bit into your life here. Where was that moment where you said, I want to become a pro wrestler?
Man, it actually started probably like around 2012. I was an apprentice plumber at the time, and I used to be a huge fan. And I started going to the shows, and then I was like, you know what? I could probably do that. You know what? And then little by little, it just became this like necessitating thing that it's something I have to try. I was talking to people about it. I was like, you know what? It's just at the time, I was more concerned in providing for my family. At the time, I was starting to develop, a family and stuff like that. So before I did anything, I wanted to make sure my family was good. And once I reached, a financial status where I could say, hey, I can go for it. That's when I did. And I would say it would probably be after I watched WrestleMania 32. That's when I went to that show here in Dallas. I was like, I have to do it. I have to do it. And I started doing my research, all over Texas. Will I be willing to drive this far? Will I be willing to, and it just came to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to see if it's for me. My tryout day, I got my butt kicked. I threw up on the way home, but all in all, man, that's when I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this. You feel the pain, you feel everything, but it's just something you love, and you just can't help but love. And like to me, the dream is to do it, and I'm doing it. I mean, of course, we all want to blow up and do it for a living, of course, but to me, it's like I'm living the dream now. I'm doing something that I love watching growing up as a kid, and now to have the opportunity to do it, and also to be an example to my kids as well. You're like, if you have a dream, go for it. Go out there and get it. There's no excuses. There's no stopping you. So yeah, I was very motivated to do so now. And then, I take it very seriously, and I have a lot of pride in everything that I do. And at the same time, I got a family too. So it also gives me that pushing factor, that surviving factor. So I would say, yeah, it kind of started 2012, 2016. I said, okay, you know what? I need to start doing some research. 2018, I started training, and ever since I graduated, I've been trying to network, trying to get myself out there more and more, and it's been a fun ride thus far, and I want more growth for this year as well. So, stay tuned for that, man. And thanks for the question.
Not a problem. So, you started doing your research in 2012. How'd you find out about your wrestling school in your area, and who was your original trainer?
I started doing my research, and I remember I seen this Texas Mania poster, and it had Jake the Snake on there, and I was like, man, it was for VIP wrestling. My head trainer was Lamont Williams, uh, and I was like, you know what? I started looking into that. I got in contact with him, and we started setting some dates, and I went for the tryout, and boom, the rest is history.
When you first got into wrestling school, did you imagine it was gonna hurt as much to your body? Like, did you know?
No, not. I mean, I to a certain extent, you know what you're getting into, but like to actually feel it, and then like when you're at work the next day and you can't walk, and you're like, it's like you're beat up, but at the same time, you see your chop marks. You can't. I don't know if maybe it's just me, but I kind of feel proud of them. Something like stars and stripes. You know what I mean? But the pain is there, but I think the love that we have for it, or that I have for it, just bypasses all that, because you just got to be careful, and you got to work to the point where you're going to keep working for a long time, and also maintaining, just period, exercising, eating. So that's mostly what I'm focused on right now, because I'm not getting any younger, so I gotta maintain and definitely keep working on myself and growing in that sense.
So, since you graduated wrestling school, you only been in the business for what, like 4 years now?
I started wrestling, yeah, probably like 3 years, going on 4.
4 years in the business, so you're still kind of green. You're
Yes, sir.
still you're still learning the ropes. You're still traveling here and there. What's one thing you wish you knew that you know now when you first started?
Man, honestly, I can't even pinpoint it to one thing because it's just been just nonstop learning. I don't have something that I could say I wish I knew because in a sense I've made the mistakes and I've learned from them. So I don't know. I can't quite pinpoint something like that, but I don't know, something that I really can't. I can't think of something on top of my head right now, honestly.
What about one thing you can change in pro wrestling? What would that be?
Change in what sense?
Anything that you can change. One thing that you can change in pro wrestling. What would it be?
Uh, Man, one thing I could change in pro wrestling. Man, there's a lot of aspects that I love about it. I guess one thing you would say probably the stuff that happens by like outside of wrestling. It's part of the wrestling world, but the drama, the politics, and all that stuff. Sometimes you just want to wrestle. You just want to work. And that's one aspect that I wish it wasn't quite like the way it is. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's about as much as I can touch on that. There's as far as changing it, I feel like I'm still learning the ropes to the point where like, man, who is this guy? He's like, so I'm very humble in that sense, and I'm not, I can't. Um that's probably as much as I can tell you on that matter, man. I don't know. I can't think of anything that I could change. Just the stuff that happens, that the negative aspects. But all that stuff happens in real life at work. So it's just part of the game. You know what I mean? So you just keep your head down and let your work speak for itself, and align yourself with people that are gonna push you and help you grow. So I would just say, just avoid the negativity and just focus on yourself, on your and being surrounded with people that like raising you up, not burying you. So you got to be very wise and stay on your toes, basically.
So, with that being said, how do you deal with backstage politics?
I try to stay away from any kind of politics as much. Like if something is, I feel like if somebody has something to say about me, they should just talk to me face to face. As far as politics goes, I don't think that I've encountered situations in that sense, but at the same time, I'm the type of guy that I try to build strong relationships with people. I try to stay out of people's way, and then network and just be respectful. So um, I don't not I don't know if anybody politicking against me in any kind of way, not that I'm aware of, anyways. But because you never know, man. So at the same time, it's kind of iffy. You don't want to say yay or nay, but you just got to stay on your toes. That's it.
I totally agree with you, man. I used to be a wrestler myself in my area. I'm in Massachusetts. Retired about 2 years ago because of injuries and stuff. But
Okay.
backstage politics were involved. I was like you, I try to stay away, try to stay clear. But sometimes you can't avoid it, so you have to speak up. Because
Yeah.
if you don't speak up, people are gonna run over you. You know.
And then I think you have to be a diplomat in a certain sense. You got to know how to carry yourself, how to speak your mind without, offending people or, just like I have a way of speaking my mind, but at the same time saying it in a respectful way that I practically can't get backlash from unless they're offended. But if I have something to say, I'll find the most humble and respectful way of saying it. Of course, nobody wants their buttons pushed because I do push back when I'm being pushed, but I try to refrain from any kind of activity in that's like that. So I think it just depends on the person. I'm just speaking for myself personally. Certain people handle certain situations differently, so you just got to deal with it as it comes, and just try to stay. Just try to. I just try to stay away from like negativity or anything that's going to affect your career or anything in any kind of way. So
Well,
just
well
that's
said. Yes. So my next question for you, Mr. Santana, is who is Kalel Santana? Do you mind explaining the character a little bit?
Well, the breakaway, Kalel Santana, stems from who I am in real life. I'm a free thinker. I think for myself. I try to spread seeds. I try to get people to think for themselves. I empower the people. I'm all about being different. You don't have to follow the herd. You don't have to be the same. You don't have to be like everybody else. And it's okay. There's greatness in everybody. You don't have to follow the herd because sometimes the herd is lost. So that's like the mission of the breakaway to get the people to break away from the BS, from the propaganda. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up. Stay true to yourself, and the rest is history. That's basically what it is. It's just a representation of freedom, and somebody that's willing to stand up for it in an entertaining way, because we are in an entertaining business. So I got to find a way to be more relatable in that sense. It's kind of like Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat. He's entertaining to watch, but he's saving the world at the same time. So that's kind of like the balance of what the breakaway would be.
Very good explanation right there. So with that being said, are you a face?
I'm a face, but it's whatever the promoter wants. So I love working heel. I've noticed that I have a lot more fun working heel. I don't know what it is, but it's just like sometimes you just get tired. You just want to say what you you just want to say what you want to say. But I think either or is good, but I find it more entertaining to be a heel.
That's what I was gonna ask you next. What do you like to do more, being a face or being a heel? But you already answered that question.
Yes, sir. I mean, I've done a lot more baby, and outside of my home promotion or where I used to train. Now, in other places, I've been venturing more toward the heel. So, like, if they ask me, like, hey, I'll work heel. I'll go upside somebody's head. I'm just kidding, but that's what I like. It seems like I enjoy it more.
So I was gonna piggyback off that and say being a face is harder, in my opinion. Is harder than being a heel because it's easy to be hated. It's easy to get booed. It's easy for people to not like you. But for people to like you, to get behind you and cheer for you, that's a hard thing to master, man. So
It is. It is. And I'm still working on that too. Just playing off the crowd more. Just it's it's a process, and I'm definitely learning from it. So I'm still open to trying it. It just thus far, I felt like I've had more fun working heel. But I want to be ambidextrous, so I want to perfect both sides in any way that I can. So prefer heel, but either or. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Whatever the promoter wants, that's what you get.
Yes, sir.
So, this is my favorite part of the show where I challenge the wrestler. I do this to every single wrestler that comes on my show. I challenge you to do a promo for like 30 seconds in character on anything you want. You think you can do it?
Sure.
All right, whenever you're ready.
All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's the business wrestling world? It's your boy, the breakaway, the standout, el natural, el destacado, Kalel Santana, here with Five-Star Revolution, doing revolutionary things, because that's what we do. Spreading seeds and getting the 1, 2, 3s, baby, one match at a time. And that's what we do. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we're going to continue to be doing. My man CJ Price, your boy Kalel Santana, 2022, the year of the breakaway.
Not bad at all. I like that. And for only almost 4 years in the business, that's pretty good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Did they teach promo class in wrestling school?
They do, but I've taken psychology in school and a little bit of college and speech classes and marketing classes and drama classes in school, and I think that, and I'm naturally like I was like the guy in like in school. I was the guy in the cafeteria that everybody's listening. I'm talking and doing the jokes and all that. So I feel that it's something that comes very naturally to me, but it's still something that I'm definitely working on and need work on, because you can't get too not confident, but you can't get too you got to have a little bit of that, not fear, but you got to always be working on yourself. So I just sometimes when you feel like you're comfortable doing something, you just realize you got a lot more work to do. So I just feel that I'm naturally an extrovert and a people's person. I feel that it comes easy to me, and I've been in situations where I speak in front of people, or I'm translating for somebody, or in public speaking type situations. So I think all that helps. And then watching my favorite wrestlers also doing their promos, and now I'm way more analytical than what I used to be back then. So now I break it down even more, and I'm like, man, this guy here, he's just tearing it up. So I'm a student of the game, at anything that I do. Whatever it is that I put my mind on, I'm a student of it, and I'd like to perfect it as best as I can, man. And I appreciate it, and it's something that I'm still working on. So, appreciate you giving me the compliment. You know what I mean? So, the work is paying off, I hope.
Absolutely, man. No problem. When I used to be a wrestler, I used to do promos in front of the mirror, or I used to record myself like 4 or 5 times just to get it perfect, just to get it the way I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, but the trick is when you're live, man. That's when it starts getting like, oh, hey man, look, can we do that again? Like, no, man, we're live, buddy. You know what I mean? But like right now, when you challenge me, I'm like, I thought you were gonna challenge me to a wrestling match or something. But then you're like a promo. I'm like, all right, I got you. Let me see. So I was just trying to hold my own, man.
Nah, man, I'm done with wrestling. I'm not probably never gonna return, man. My body's done. But enough about me. Let's stick with you, Mr. Santana. Let's talk about dream matches for a little bit. Realistic dream matches. Who do you have on your list to wrestle?
Man, there's so much talent out there, man. It's really it's I really haven't pinpointed one specifically, but there's a lot of people that I do have my eyes on. But I couldn't tell you a specific person, but there's definitely a lot of talent out there that's worth mentioning. But I don't know, man. It's just Texas has a lot of good wrestlers, man. They have a lot of good wrestlers. So dream match. I don't know, man. I think uh I don't know. I haven't thought about it, honestly. I just been working my butt off, and like working on myself and trying to climb up, that I haven't thought about who I would want to wrestle or mention. I probably don't even have enough rapport for people to be like, who is this guy? Like, who he just randomly wants to face people, or you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm in that position yet to like maybe mention who a dream match would be, because I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people out there that I would love to work with, honestly. But off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you who. There's so many of them that I'm blanking out right now. It's just so many. I don't want to leave anybody out. You know what I mean? So we'll see what's coming up. So this year is definitely a year that I want to grow more in that sense and work with a lot of people, more people that are top tier. You know what I mean? So we'll see what's coming. We'll see what's coming. Definitely be on the lookout for that.
So would you say that the Texas independent wrestling scene is booming right now?
Yes, definitely. It's booming. It's booming, and I feel kind of lucky to live here and like to see this for myself, because I remember before I became a wrestler, a worker. Like I wouldn't. I don't know. It's just now I see shows everywhere, shows springing up, like top tier talent here, people there. It's just like I would say it is, man. We're like at a renaissance type moment in wrestling here at Texas, man. So I feel very blessed to be here, and it's a very big state, so a lot of area to cover.
I never been to Texas. Hopefully one day I will go down there, and if I do, I'm gonna hit you up so we can hang out.
I'll at your boy, man. I got you. Yes, sir.
Everything is bigger in Texas, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
So, what about wrestling promotions that you have your eye on that you want to debut for?
Well, I have a lot of those that I would like to debut for, like Lucha Brutal, maybe work at APW, MPX. What's another one? I'm doing Branded Outlaw this summer, so that one's check. Keep working at Pele. Pele, I really enjoyed working there the last couple of times that I was there. Uh, Martinez too, one of their bigger shows. I would love to work those. And I'm starting to do more research and branching out of state too. So I'm definitely doing research for out of state promotions as well, because I wanna work here locally first, and then start expanding little by little. So out of state, I've got a couple of ones that I would like, but I'm still doing some research on that end. Those are just a couple that I mentioned, but there's a lot of great promotions around here that I would love to work.
I think you're doing it the smart way. Start in your local area first, get your name out there, try to get some fans behind you, and then branch out to other states so that way more fans can get to know you and more bookings come your way. So you're doing it the smart way, in my opinion. That's what I did.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
So I know you only been in the business for 3.5 years now. I'm assuming you have at least one funny road story or a funny backstage story that you can tell us.
I mean, anytime that you're backstage is just fun, man. It's just like there's some, but like I don't know if y'all want to hear it, man. But it's just honestly, man. Every time at every wrestling show, it's just you go out to the bar. It's just random. It's just kicking it back. It trips me out to see some still dressed up in their gimmick at the bar or whatever. But I don't have a lot of like road stories. I haven't carpool with a lot of people, man. I don't I, I don't have any appropriate stories that I could tell you, but I mean, it's definitely fun, man. It's always fun. It's always like it's like family, man, and it's just you bond with people. It's crazy, man. Just with a couple of drinks, eat, talk. You're doing what you love together. So it's always a bonding situation. So those are part of the good aspects of wrestling as well. You get to build bonds with people.
Couple more questions for me, Mr. Santana. What can we expect out of you in the next 3 years?
Man, in the next 3 years, I plan to branch out more. I have a lot of different projects coming up. Like as I mentioned to you off the separately, like I like to work on a podcast where I could, speak about, stuff that current events, what's going on. Trying to spread seeds, like I was telling you. Definitely branching out with more merch. wrestling out of state. What else? You know, I'm also working on a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. It's a lot of stuff that I'm new to, but I feel that it's a lot of things that I already do for fun. It's something that maybe I can monetize on, or something that I could, make a move on. And maybe even have like a family channel with my family. Who knows? You see these cats out here making big money with their family, just doing family things. I'm like, hey man, I could do that. You know what I mean? So it's like the sky's the limit, man. It's like I want to touch projects on things that I'm interested in. Like at some point in my life, I was interested in doing music production. Like being a producer. Stand-up comedy is something that I love, and it's something that I would love to try out. I haven't got the courage to do it quite yet. Maybe sometime soon, but it's just I want to branch out on things that I naturally already like and I'm good at. So that all those are like the way I look at it is like possible projects coming soon. A lot of those things I'm working on now as we speak. So yeah, be on the lookout for that for sure.
If you do a podcast, you better hit me up so we can collab, bro.
Sir, for sure. I got you, man. I'll hit you up. Yeah, no
So,
doubt.
last question for me, Mr. Santana. What do you want to do in this business? What do you want to get out of this business? What's your main goal?
My main goal is, to grow in this business, to entertain people, but at the same time to make people think, make it all right to be a thinker, to make it not only entertaining, but it's also something good, and what was the question again? I kind of lost the
Uh,
say it again, repeat the question one more time, please. No, the question, what was it?
my question was, what's your main goal? What are you looking to get out of this business?
Also, man, be champion, brother, because that's what we get in it for. If you're not in it to be champion, then what else are you in it for? So to grow, to spread seeds, and to get championships, brother, and get my name out there as best as I can, and possibly make a living out of it.
Collect belts and collect checks, right?
That's the plan. That's the plan.
So, where can our listeners follow you on social media?
What kind of what?
Where can our listeners follow you on social media?
Well, it depends, man. Is listeners, you said?
Yeah, our listeners, the people that are listening to the show.
Like you talking about what kind of people, like family, friends, people in the business, stuff like that.
No, no, no. My question is, where can our listeners follow you on social media like Facebook, Twitter?
You can follow me at one the chosen one on Instagram, but it's one_the_chosen_one, or you can go to Kalel Santana on Facebook or Kalel Santana 3 on Twitter.
There you go, folks. Go follow my friend Kalel Santana on all those platforms that he just mentioned. We wish you the best of luck in your career. You have a bright future ahead of you. And thank you so much for joining us here on the Five Star Revolution podcast.
Thank you for having me, man. It was my pleasure, brother. Thank you.
No problem. And for you listeners, don't forget, join us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Five Star Revolution podcast. Mr. Kalel Santana, have a good night, man.
Too, man. Thank you.